Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, except for the reason that brought me here.
Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I'm trying to figure out a way to stop enabling my adult son.
Could you tell me some of the not so good things about the way things are going lately?
Well, he's 29. He is without a job and has been for probably going on a year at least. He's divorced. He has 2 children, 6 and 3, 2 little girls. And he does not pay child support, which means that he has a suspended license. But he does not have a vehicle. He wrecked it a while back and did not replace it with the insurance money. He lives in a house that I own and has for months and months not paid the mortgage, which is not a whole lot of money.
Sounds like he has a lot on his plate, which in turn means that you have a lot on your plate because you're having to take care of his responsibilities.
Yes, he's not being responsible and he's definitely not accountable.
Well, do you think that you could tell me what are the good things about maybe things staying the way that they are?
Well, there's not much good, only in that I don't like confrontation, so I guess that I would be less stressed out in the short term, but that just doesn't work for me in the long term.
Yeah, so you're just kind of avoiding the inevitable. It's a little bit easier to just kind of like out of sight, out of mind.
Yes, because I tend to believe him every month when he tells me that he's working it out and that his finances will be straightened out enough for him to pay the mortgage.
Yeah, you want to see you're a good mom, so you're trying to see the best. You believe that his intentions are good. Could you tell me the disadvantages or the not so good things that would come from things staying the way that they are?
I think that the disadvantage is that he doesn't grow up. He doesn't become a survivor, a self-supporting member of society, that he keeps doing the same thing over and over again, and there are no meaningful consequences. My concern and my fear is that if I don't change things, then he won't ever change.
Yeah, so if you keep riding along the merry-go-round and enabling him, that he's just going to continue this behavior.
That's true. He may also be a drug user, although I'm not certain. He is very dependent on Adderall. He has been for years. And the reason I say that is that his new roommate, according to what I'm hearing, has been known to sell drugs in the past. And so my concerns are that drugs may also be involved, both legal and illegal.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of it is also centered around the house that he's living in with. First he wasn't paying the mortgage, and now he's moved in an alleged drug dealer.
Well, the mortgage still isn't getting paid.
And the mortgage still isn't getting paid, and so that's falling on you every month.
Yes, and I have to pay it because obviously I don't want the house to go into foreclosure. Mm-hmm. So I have to, and I thought having a roommate would actually make his financial situation better, but it doesn't seem to have made a difference.
Yeah, he's still just kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing, and I'm doing the same thing, at least right now in the short term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's really stressful and tough to just relive that every month, the same issue. But so could you tell me some of the not so good things that might come from you possibly stopping enabling him?
Well, the confrontation would be uncomfortable, unpleasant for both of us. I have to look at the possibility that, he won't go into survivor mode, that he won't take stock of his life and turn it around, and nothing changes.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. But maybe the good things that might come from changing might outweigh those. And could you think of any of the good things that would come from stopping enabling him and making that change?
I mean, well, there's always the hope that he will get a job, become totally independent, and that he'll be able to keep a roof over his head without assistance from me. And I think that would be empowering to him.
Yeah, so if you did stop enabling him, the hoped for outcome would be that he would, assume responsibility, go into survival mode, and be self-supportive and take care of himself, that he would learn, life skills and get it together.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so do you have any ideas how you would be able to stop enabling him? Have you thought about any strategies or?
I've thought of a few, but the one that I think that would work the best would be to probably just sell the house. The house is mine, it's in my name. And ultimately, I'm responsible for it. So I think that probably is going to be my goal.
So selling the house would force him to figure out his own living situation. The house has kind of been like maybe like a crutch, and it's also been a burden on you. A crutch for him and a burden on you.
Yes, I think that he knows that he has a place to lay his head, he has a place to take a shower, he has, a kitchen. I mean, there's just some comfort in that. And he's lived there for a number of years. But I think it has crippled him because it's kind of been his soft landing spot, so to speak.
Yeah, it's just kind of enabled him to not do the things that he should do as an adult, and it's he's kind of taken advantage of you.
Yes, for me it's become a huge liability.
Yeah, and that's really hard as a mom, to have to be a mother and then also to have to be a landlord, kind of, in a sense.
Yes, because I think because I'm his mother,
Mm-hmm.
he knows I'm not going to, or he has up to this point thought I would not kick him out or in any way, take his crutch away from him.
Yeah, he's kind of played on the fact that you're his mom and your emotions and your love for him.
Yes, I think he's taken terrible advantage of me.
So can I ask you, on a scale of between 0 and 10, and 0 being not important or urgent at all, and 10 being extremely urgent and important, how important and urgent is it, and urgent is it for you to implement, these consequences and taking these first steps to stop enabling his behavior?
I think maybe between an 8.5 and a 9.
So why an 8.5 and 9 and not maybe like a 5 or a 6?
Well, because I know I'm going to open myself up to a lot of confrontation and discomfort. I'm sure he'll try to make me feel guilty, and it isn't something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and that's totally understandable. It's very hard, because I feel like you've been doing the things that you've done for him because you love him and care about him, and you've wanted to kind of save him from certain consequences and alleviate stress, but it's kind of almost taken away, like, the hard lessons in life that life can teach you, and to learn survival skills and ways to cope with life. And
yes, all of that's true, and I think that ultimately I have to also think about the fact that it is survival skills, because he does need to be a survivor, so that he can also take care of his children, the 2 children that he's got, 2 little girls, 6 and 3.
Yeah, so I think that's really important, because for you to, I agree with you that it is important and urgent to implement, these changes, make these changes, because it's not only going to hopefully help him, but in turn help your grandchildren, his children.
Yes, that would be my hope. I hope it turns out that way.
Yeah. Could you tell me, maybe, do you have an idea of the first step that you might take in selling the house, and do you have an idea or a plan of?
Well, because it's the holidays and because he has taken on a roommate, I thought it would be fair to wait until the first of the year and sit down with both of them and explain that it's not working out, my strategy, why I'm doing it, and I'm sure it'll be very unpleasant, but then give them both a period of about 60 days to get their stuff together and to move out so that the house can be sold.
I think that's really fair. And just curious, let's just say that you do sell the house, and he shows up on your front porch and he's like, "Mom, I don't have a car, I don't have food, I'm hungry, I don't have anywhere to go." How might you handle that situation?
That would be hard, and I have thought about that, because I don't have any reason right now to think that anything will change, and that probably would be exactly what would happen. But I have a plan that if that does happen, I will offer him a couple of options in terms of rehabilitation, like, learning, life skills, something like A Better Way Ministries, that's anchored over in Sonoy, where they take on young men and older men that have made a lot of mistakes, have not been very accountable, responsible. Some have had drug addictions, some have been in prison, both. And there are a few other programs like that in and around the Atlanta area, so that would be something I would offer him. But what I would not offer him would be to walk through the door and resume the past pattern of behavior.
Yeah, I think that's great that you have you already have ideas of, if things go wrong or there's some bumps in the road, you have already thought about what you would do in those types of situations, and you already have some knowledge of resources that are available, in the area, and I think that's great. So you think that, selling the house is something that you are going to do?
Yes, I think that because I've seen no meaningful change, even though that his intentions might be completely legitimate every month to do better, but he hasn't. And I think that it's been years, and I think for him to have a chance at a successful future, that the hard thing has to be done, if not right now, in the very near future.
Well, it sounds like you have got a solid plan, like what you need to do. And I know it's not necessarily what you want to do, but you do in order to free yourself and to also, hopefully evoke some positive change in your son. And, you have a best case scenario, and then you have what you might do for the worst case scenario. And both of them actually, seem really positive. Even the worst case scenario, something positive can come out of that too.
Yes, it would be the less desirable one, but either way, as long as it evokes the right kind of change and turns his life around and he becomes accountable, responsible, but most importantly self-sufficient, then it will be worth it.
Well, I think that you're a really good mom for, planning on doing something that's going to be really hard, but that, will hopefully, help your son in the long run. And, I hope that everything will go smoothly, but if there are any, bumps in the road or unexpected things that happen, I'm here and you can come back and we can, alter our course of action. But I'm here and I really appreciate you opening up and talking with me about this.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate everything and the willingness you have to be available in the future.